Presentation for public hearing on budget 2024-2025. Ms. Dorenia Villalona.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dorenia Villalona. I'm the School Business Administrator and Board Secretary for New Brunswick Public Schools, and it is my pleasure to present the proposed budget for the 24-25 school year. There are also handouts for the members of the public to follow along. Over the course of the next 15 slides, we will review the preliminary budget totals, our revenues and appropriations, our budget increases and decreases, the tax impact, as well as our detailed advertised revenues and appropriations, and we will also review our educational priorities specific to staffing and capital improvement plans for the 24-25 school year. The preliminary budget for the 24-25 school year totals $297,703,784, reflecting an increase of approximately $11.9 million compared to the 23-24 budget. The primary factor driving this increase is a $12.8 million rise in state aid. In regards to the revenues that will support our 24-25 budget, they are made up of our awarded state aid for 24-25, which amounts to nearly $199 million, our early childhood preschool education aid, carryover and transfer of special education students, which amounts to $25.5 million, our miscellaneous revenue, which amounts to $3.9 million, our semi-funding for the 24-25 school year, which amounts to approximately $600,000. Local, state, and federal grant funding, which amounts to $9.1 million. And this is actually a decrease of about $7 million for the 23-24 budget that we'll go over in the next slide. Food service transfer of funds is also included as part of our revenues, which amounts to $500,000. Our budgeted fund balance, which amounts to $19.2 million. The tax levy for the 24-25 school year, which amounts to $37.1 million. And lastly, our withdrawal from capital reserve, which amounts to $2 million. So our revenue totals for the 24-25 school year reflect an increase of $11.9 million, which is a 4.17% increase over our 23-24 budget. So it is important to note that this budget does not include ESSER funding previously received from the federal government to address the impact of COVID-19. So this is a part of the reason why our local, state, and federal funding line item is decreased by almost $7 million for the 24-25 school year. In regards to our budgeted appropriations for the 24-25 school year, the majority of our projected expenses will be allocated to staff salaries, which amounts to nearly $129 million. Employee benefits, which amount to approximately $57 million. Non-salary accounts, which amount to approximately $67 million. Our early childhood pre-K budget, which amounts to $25.5 million. Our local, state, and federal grants, and this is made up of mostly our Title and IDEA funding sources, which amounts to $9.1 million, and our charter school tuition, which amounts to approximately $10.3 million. So this slide here provides a visual breakdown of our budgeted costs for the 24-25 school year. As you can see on the large blue slice of the pie chart, 65% of our budgeted cost is in our employee salaries and benefits, followed by our early childhood budget, out-of-district tuition, supplies, transportation, charter school tuition, and maintenance of schools plans. This slide highlights the projected increases or decreases in our budgeted costs in our 24-25 budget. Salaries for current staff and new positions will increase by approximately $5.2 million. Medical benefits will increase by approximately $9.5 million. Other benefits, including our PERS contributions, Social Security, workers' comp insurance, etc., will be decreased by approximately $1 million. Gas, electric, sewer will increase by approximately $200,000. Transportation will increase by approximately $646,000. Charter school tuition will increase by approximately $2.3 million. Out-of-district tuition will increase by approximately $1 million. Supplies and professional services will increase by approximately $75,000. Other expense reductions will decrease by approximately $776,000. General administration will increase by approximately $460,000. Our early childhood budget will increase by approximately $1.9 million. And our maintenance of school plans will decrease by approximately $2.3 million. In regards to the tax levy, the budget for the 24-25 school year proposes a $92 per year increase for New Brunswick residents. The tax levy is increasing by a total of $813,400, which amounts to a total tax levy for the 24-25 school year of $37,113,400, and that is an increase of $7.56 per month per household. I've also included this detailed breakdown of our advertised revenues and appropriations for the 24-25 school year, which are also provided in today's handout. The 24-25 budget will focus on the following educational priorities: maintaining current programs and supports, enhancing rigor and programming to optimize teaching and learning, improving instructional supports for students with diverse abilities and multilingual backgrounds, and implementing evidence-based teaching practices and interventions, staffing to support ability diverse and multilingual learners, professional development designed to promote innovation and expertise, providing professional learning for staff on culturally responsive teaching and effective instructional methods. And finally, the budget also allocates funds for finalizing the high school gym addition, developing cutting-edge science labs at New Brunswick High School and Pathways Middle School, installing LED signage across district schools, and implementing security upgrades to ensure the creation of the safest and most optimal learning environments. As I conclude, I would just like to provide a quick recap of everything that's been presented tonight. Once again, the preliminary budget for the 24-25 school year totals $297,703,784. With the 24-25 budget, we plan to maintain program offerings, extracurricular activities, as well as mental health and SEL supports for our students. In regards to staffing, the budget allocates funds for approximately 4 positions to support ability diverse and multilingual learners. And the following includes some of the following expense estimates that had a direct impact to our budget: a 4.2% increase in salaries, 4.2% increase, in salaries, a 24.2% increase in medical benefits, which is mostly due to an increase in medical claims brought to us thus far, a 6% increase in transportation, a 6.4% increase in out-of-district tuition, a 29.1% increase in charter school aid, and a 2.24% increase in tax levy. And once again, we want to make sure that we know that the 24-25 budget no longer includes ESSER funding aimed at addressing the impact of COVID-19. Therefore, we are working towards realigning staffing and programs previously supported by ESSER funding to maintain programming. Thank you, and that concludes my presentation.
up for public comments on just the 2025 budget. Do we have anyone, Ms. Villalona? Votes open?
For this portion of comments on the budget, there is no requirement to sign up ahead of time. So if any members of the public have a comment on the 24-25 budget, now is the time to share it with the board.
Hello, good evening. Good evening. My name is Linda Stork of Park Boulevard, and thank you for that very clear presentation of the budget. And the written one is also very clear and
Just hold on 1 second, Ms. Dorick, because we can't hear you. I'm just gonna raise the microphone.
okay. I think if I just get closer to it, maybe is that better?
Yeah, thank you.
So I was thanking you for your excellent, very clear and presentation in written form and in your verbal presentation. I just had a couple of questions. The ESSER funding is not included in the budget, but is there any ESSER money left? And it's just not included in the budget, or it's not included because it's used up?
We are to use any available ESSER funding that the district has at this time by June 30th, 2024. So even if there's unexpended ESSER funding, we are not able to roll it over into the next school year. But we do have a plan already implemented to ensure that we utilize all of the ESSER funding by June 30th, 2024.
Because my understanding is that it can be used to contract for services in the coming school year. Correct?
We plan to utilize all of our ESSER funding by June 30th, 2024.
Okay. So it will be used up and there won't be anything to get contracts for next year?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And also when you, the part where it said to maintain the mental health and SEL, does that mean at the current level, is there any possibility of more counselors coming on board? I'm unclear on the word maintain. It says maintain the services, but is that maintained at the present level? Or could that be increased?
We are looking at that at this time. We're using the word maintain because a lot of our SF funding was used for mental health supports, and as you know, we're no longer receiving that. So, we're in a situation right now where we're trying to determine what we can continue to operate on. As stated in our presentation, our goal is to maintain current supports for mental health. We're going to always take a look to see where we can improve upon. Cannot say for sure right now that we'll be able to expand, but at the minimum, there is definitely no decrease.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else? I think that. So we're going to move on to item number 6, resolutions A and B, I'm sorry, on the 2024-2025 budget. Can I please have a motion?
Dr. Caldwell? Yes. Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz? Yes. Mrs. Seawood? Yes. Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Yes. Ms. Varela? Mr. Adorno?
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item number 7, motion to close public hearing on budget.
Second.
Dr. Caldwell? Yes. Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood? Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Ms. Varela? Mr. Adorno?
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Motion approved.